Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Davis.
I'm Mystery Guest.
And I'm David.
And we are 2 Men in a Truck.
And this is our podcast.
And we're not in a truck today. We're actually outside. We're still on our out west tour, currently in Nevada. I think our first filming was in Nevada, correct?
Yep, we started out in Nevada. We hit a little bit of Arizona. We spent a lot of time in Utah, back down to Arizona. I think since we shot last week, we've actually got a lot to discuss on that.
Yep.
And now we are back over in Nevada. I think we're on day 8?
Yes.
Yeah, so day 8 of travels out here. It's been fun. A lot of pretty cool stuff. Whew. Okay, so I do want to say, before we get into the crazy stuff, I do want to say how neat it was to see, while we were still on the Arizona-Utah tour, the meteor crater was pretty epic. I thought that was really nice. There's going to be a photo of it right here that Davis is going to input.
You say that every single podcast,
he
and
never
I never
does
do
it.
it.
But yeah, what was it like? They said a little over a mile wide. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool to see the strata on an angle. So from the blast, it actually blasted all the layers that normally would run horizontal. It blasted them onto about a 45-degree angle along the outskirts. And we didn't even realize it at first when we first were driving out that way, because there's just mountains everywhere out here. I saw it and thought it was a mountain range. You could see it from probably 10 miles away. And I just thought it was like another random mountain. And then as we got closer, I was like, holy crap, that mountain is the meteor crash site, which was really epic. It was what, $30 a head about. I think it was like just under $30 a head. But there was a lot of stuff to do there and pretty cool.
They had a little 4D ride, and it was actually pretty solid. It literally was like a Universal ride with terrible acting. It was pretty impressive.
It was not Disney quality, but it was definitely Universal quality.
There was a fog machine. It
Yeah.
went off at least 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we got to have front row seats to that, and only people in the entire auditorium for that, which was nice. Yeah, it was not quite soaring, but it was cool for being part of the included $30 package. I felt like it was, at first I was a little bit miffed about the price. I was like, man, that's a lot to look at a hole in the ground, even though I was excited about it. But after seeing everything else and all the meteorites in the museum they had, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was neat. And it's the only privately owned crater. I'm pretty sure every other crater is owned by the government. This one is still privately owned, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, which president? They said that the guy who bought it originally knew President, gosh, I can't remember.
I think it was Roosevelt.
Roosevelt,
Yep.
That sounds right. So they own probably what looks like maybe 50 or 100 acres of the meteor site. It might be more than that if it's a mile across. Distance out here is just like it's immeasurable. It's so big. But they say whatever they own the meteor site and the meteor site only. But then the surrounding 50,000 acres are part of the Bar T Bar, yeah, ranch, and they own like 5 or 7 massive ranches out here that are all that big.
And how many cattle head?
Not that many. They said it was like 5,000 to 7,000 total between all of the ranches. I mean, that just seems very spread out, which, to be fair, there's nothing to eat out here. It's all dirt and rocks. But it was, I mean, we're in Nevada, but it was the same way there. There wasn't a whole lot of like vegetation growing. But yeah, that's a lot of very empty land. It seems like you could have way less land, water a couple of fields, and grow more than enough for those cows to eat off of, instead of having just immense empty land and have to hunt for your animals all the time.
Yeah. It's been a really cool trip. We've seen a lot of different things. So we just started staying in like legitimate Vegas.
Yeah, on the Strip, we are at the what hotel?
Mandalay Bay.
Mandalay Bay Hotel, 18th floor. We're on the low end of things, unfortunately. I think it goes up to like, what is it, 50, 60, something like
It's
that?
60 something, I think.
60
yeah.
something. But no, 18th floor, still a pretty cool view. There's a lot happening there. As people who do not gamble, like, we've never really had a massive appeal for Vegas. But every hotel is like a whole entire shopping mall that connects to the next hotel with its own shopping mall. Been pretty cool to see.
It has been really neat to see. I will say one thing that's a little bit divisive, we're not huge fans of it, is the minibar hotel prices. So in your room, it's like you have snacks, but the snack prices here are insane. It's also not just if you eat them, they're censored. So if you literally accidentally knock it over, you just bought it. You just paid for it right there. So they obviously have on top of the table, they have, Pringles, chocolate, nuts, M&Ms. What else do they have?
Fiji
Water. And and it's pretty pricey.
So I know, and we're not talking the real Pringles. We're talking like
It is half a can of Pringles.
It's not even half, dude. It's like a third or a quarter. It's this tall.
It's very small.
It's like a 3-inch tall Pringles can, and it was $16. How much was a Fiji water?
25 for the large one.
$25.
For the small.
I mean, what is a Fiji water in the store? Like $2.50, maybe $3?
Yeah, maybe $3. If
yeah.
you're at a gas station or something, it's probably $3. But it's happy hour between 8 p.m. and 12 a.m. and it's 25% off.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
big money. Yeah, so let's not even talk about the fridge stuff yet, because the fridge stuff is insane. But all of that is pretty wild. Plus, $70 for a condom.
Yeah.
If you want a condom, $70. It's pretty intense.
You've ended up in a pretty bad spot where you've got some random stranger in your room and you're like, oh, should I pay the $70 or risk an STD right now?
Is the nut worth it? You have to decide. Ugh.
I'm saying no to the whole thing. Like, I'll pass on that. So yeah, it's not for me. But yeah, that is insane. So since we're kind of on the subject, the fridge thing is, I think, really disappointing. They have a $65 storage fee. So if you put anything in the fridge, you have to pay $65, which is insane. None of us are diabetics, but I know with people who are diabetics, they've got to keep their insulin in a fridge. So if you have that, you've got to pay $65 just to keep your insulin refrigerated inside of that, which just seems absolutely insane since it's in there and it's running anyways. And how much is it per toilet flush?
Oh gosh, what is it? Is it 35?
Something like that.
Something around there.
No,
yeah.
I seriously, like, I was joking. I was like, man, do we have to pay to take baths here? And because it is a nice bathroom with a nice bathtub, and yeah, just like insane. We're afraid to turn the TV on. Like, everything is pay-per-view. You turn the TV on, you automatically start paying. It's like literally my credit card starts dinging. It's like, you just purchased
VisioCast TV. 700.
Yeah, turning the TV on cost the price of the TV.
But yeah, the actual fridge is insane. I want to pull up the prices. So have you looked at the prices yourself?
No, she was telling me about them.
So so you probably won't remember, but you know, because we were talking about it at breakfast. But let's see. So yeah, so the fridge prices are, I feel like, even more crazy. I want you to guess. So in the fridge is mostly beer and liquor and stuff. So I want you to guess what.
Liquor? I barely know her. Sorry.
I need to get you that romance kit, huh? So I want you to guess what 50 milliliters of vodka costs in there.
So 50 milliliters is like a one shot, right? 50 milliliters. Yeah, that's an airplane bottle. Oh gosh, I can't even begin to guess because it's going to be so annoyingly wrong. Like, it should be maybe $12.
19.
19.
I want you to guess what 200 milliliters of tequila is.
So 4 shots. I mean, I'm going to guess $70. Get a slight discount.
90.
90. They were. Oh, yeah. You want to buy 4 for the price of more? Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Bundle and don't save.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's literally more expensive.
Dumb.
Interesting. How about 375 milliliters of vodka?
So a fifth.
So if you were to buy that in a store, that would be, I mean, even Grey Goose is like a $30 bottle in a store. I have no idea what they're charging for, but that's like a Grey Goose. I mean, you can get, I don't know what they had. You can get a 750 bottle for, like, you said 750, right?
375.
375 bottle. Okay. You can get a 375 bottle, like, of the cheap stuff for probably like $8.99. I don't know what they have in there. It's probably the cheap stuff, but it would cost between $9 and $30 on the highest end. How much is it?
$90.
$90. Stupid.
Although
Although at least you get a little bit more than the tequila, man. That tequila was way overpriced.
Yeah. What is a beer?
A beer is usually like a fermented in hops.
Right. How much does a beer cost in the fridge?
I'm gonna say because a shot was 19. I'm gonna say it's like $18.
16.
16.
Pretty close.
Stupidly expensive. It's $1 to buy it, but
How much is the red wine?
16?
65.
65? Was it a whole bottle?
I don't know. I didn't open the fridge. It'd be 65 bucks.
Could
if
you
I opened
check
that
for us
fridge.
and let us know?
I'll open it in your room.
I'm sure all the views you're gonna get on this video would pay for it.
Yeah, for sure. 30 views.
Feel free to donate below, guys.
30 views, 1 comment. Who are you guys?
We're gonna need the money if Davis accidentally opens the fridge.
Ugh. White wine,
Ugh. How much was the other wine?
65,
I'm gonna go with the same.
60. White wine's cheaper.
That makes sense because it's different. I don't know. That doesn't make sense. These prices are stupid.
All right, how much is champagne?
Oh, I bet that's gonna be $100.
70.
70. Oh wow, what a good deal on champagne.
Yeah, I know, pretty good. I mean, I doubt it's like rosé or something.
$4 bottle from the gas station, and it's $70 there.
Yeah. But yeah, it's that's pretty intense pricing.
Now, to be fair though, if you just go down to the lobby and then walk into what is basically the mall, the prices are pretty decent. Like I would say they feel like they're pretty modest, don't you say, mystery guest?
They were reasonable, so the only thing I would say was not reasonable was a box of Benadryl. It was 24 tablets, and it was $22.
That's a little pricey.
$1 a tablet almost is insane.
But how much would Benadryl be in like an actual store?
I mean, probably like $13 for that box.
So in an actual, I mean, that's really not that bad. Because if you went to then like a DGX, which is what we're used to hitting in downtown, that would probably be like $18. So 22 really isn't that bad. I feel like that's pretty fair compared to $1 like thing of Pringles that costs 16. Doesn't seem that insane to me.
Yeah, the markup is definitely not as bad if you go down to the store.
And what's crazy, so in the room, I forgot about the coffee. So they have a little coffee cup. There's creamer and sugar in there, and they have the coffee machine beside it. Do you know how much the coffee is?
I think she said it was $4 a cup.
No, more than that.
It was way more than that. You
Per
gotta
cup?
guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
1 cup. Guess how much?
$8 a cup?
Technically, yes, because one kit has 2 cups in it, but it's $16 for the set. And the Keurig machine that they have in there is like the tiniest, crappiest Keurig you've ever seen in your life, that at any other hotel, it's free to use.
So,
Insane.
pro tip, buy your Keurig K-Cups before you check into a fancy hotel on the Vegas Strip. And then you,
They might have a sensor on the Keurig.
That-
I'm not touching it. I'm not opening anything.
It's a trap. It's always a trap.
I think it is funny for people who can do what we do and who are, I wouldn't say like wealthy, like we definitely know way richer people, but for people who can like go out and do stuff and like enjoy life, we are definitely very frugal when it comes to overpaying for stupid stuff. Like we'll drop big money on something that has value and not bat an eye about it. Like we were literally just joking about like, yeah, if that 5 acres is 50 grand, we'll buy it. Because it's out in the middle of nowhere. Like we're like, not a big deal to spend 50 grand. We're like, we will not pay $8 for a cup of coffee in our room.
Yeah.
Not worth it. I will say though, I did go down to the Starbucks and I paid $6 something for a coffee at Starbucks, which is more than it would cost at home. So I think just everything is more at the hotel.
Yeah, and I expect that. I mean, seeing the hotel and seeing the level at which everything has been built, I can't complain. I mean, you've got 20-foot ceilings throughout the entire first floor, and a pretty epic view. And the rooms themselves are really nice. They're well maintained. I've got no complaints on that. Not the best bathtub we've ever had in a hotel, but we also didn't get like a suite or anything. I bet the suites are way nicer. So we were kind of modest on that. What did the room cost a night?
I booked it on Priceline, so I don't remember. I want to say it was like maybe like $170 a night, but that's before like resort taxes and stuff like that.
Yeah, even still, $170 a night. Like I've stayed in both of the areas where our businesses are, and at the Third in North Carolina, and I paid $170 a night for like a Holiday Inn. So, I mean, $170 is really not bad. So no complaints there. That's a very fair price. They're definitely trying to make it up on the back end, and we are not doing it. We're spending no money there.
Nope. Literally nothing.
We did have a nice breakfast though.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're spending money like downstairs at the restaurants and stuff, but we're not eating the $16 box of Pringles or the $35 thing of M&Ms or even the $8 coffees.
I will say they have a weird way of doing math. So when we went to brunch the other day, one mimosa was $17, or bottomless mimosas was $34. So I was like, I'll just get bottomless, and then when they come out, they automatically just give you 2 mimosas.
So there's there's a clip of the guy from Trailer Park Boys. I think he's like the superintendent of the property, and he's like sloshed and almost falls down the stairs. Have you seen that, Davis?
No.
I know you've seen it, mystery guest. That was mystery guest when she walked back in the hotel. She was like,
It was a lot. I was like, "Are you guys?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I just had 5 mimosas. It's fine."
so I was not feeling great, so I skipped breakfast, and instead I was like opted in for taking a nice bath. And like I'm in the tub and I hear like bang bang, like it sounds like someone is literally bouncing off the hallway door, the hallway walls as she made her way in. And then she comes in and she gets real close. She's like, "I think there was vodka in there." I'm like, "Yeah, I can smell it on your breath."
Uh,
They didn't say there was vodka in it too. In my defense, also, I would like to highly recommend if you do bottomless mimosas, immediately go to an aquarium.
it was interesting. She was very happy at the aquarium though, so it was good. Positive experience.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I mean, and $34 honestly, because what would $34 get you? It'd get you like 2 shots of the other one.
If that even, yeah.
Yeah, because you said they were $19 a shot.
Depends on what you get.
16, 17.
Yeah, if you got vodka, it's 19 a shot.
Yeah, so I'm sure she had more than 2 shots. So yeah, bottomless mimosas worked out. I think that was a fair spin. We'll do again. Probably going to do tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's one nice thing about it is that you can do so much without having to drive. So you can have a few drinks and not worry about doing anything like that that's going to be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. So if it's cool with y'all, I want to go ahead and segue into the boxing stuff.
Okay,
That
let's do
sounds
it.
good. All right. So before we even get into the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul stuff, I want to show you guys. Have you guys seen the child boxing ring?
No,
No? Okay. Well, you're about to see it.
there's some redneck stuff though, man. I feel like that's something that would definitely happen
I just lost it.
in like really really backcountry South Carolina, maybe like Florida.
I'm going to tell you they're not white. What race are they?
Okay, so Mexicans like fighting chickens, so I'm gonna say maybe Mexicans.
Wrong again.
Man,
Intense.
that kid's got a serious right hook. What? So obviously they're Asian. What like what part of Asia are they from? Because all of the Asians I know are like, let's do math, and their parents are like, what if you guys try to kill each other?
China.
China?
Yep.
Well, to be fair, they did accidentally have 2 kids and they're only allowed 1. So they're like, you guys have to fight to the death. Twins came out and they're like, there's only one way to settle this.
There can be only one.
Highlander.
It's like from Star Wars when Anakin's killing all the little kids, but he just gives one of them a lightsaber. He's like, kill all the other ones. Figure it out, dude. Only one way out of you for this.
Yeah, that's looking pretty rough. I mean, those kids have been through it. That's not their first time fighting each other either.
No, they have so many videos of them fighting. I watch every single one. It's hilarious. They do grapples, and they have boxing gloves on in that one, but in a lot of them they don't. And they'll just like shove each other and like throw each other on the ground, and they'll grab each other and like throw them over, and then grab them again and then throw them over. It's so fun to watch, dude. It's awesome.
I mean, I will say those kids are going to grow up tough. I didn't grow up in sanctioned boxing matches in the house, but we definitely grew up with a bunch of siblings and everything was roughhousing, and cousins were wrestling, and that's what most of the things when we got together were like, just doing the stupidest stuff to each other.
Yeah.
So when I was like 10, a family moved in, and the mom was from South Korea, I believe, and the dad was white. But the kids, the Korean genes were pretty dominant. So they had 2 kids. The boy was a little bit younger than me, and the girl was a little bit older. And they both looked, they looked almost completely Korean. Like you couldn't see the white. It kind of disappeared. But because of that, and the fact that we were in a little nowhere town who had never met any Asian people before, me and Daniel thought he like knew Kung Fu. So we were forever doing like karate kicks and Kung Fu when we were with him. Like when we were with all the other white kids, we would wrestle, but with him, it was like nonstop, like leg sweeps. And just, I'm sure lots of screaming, hi-ya.
Do you know Mr. Miyagi? Can you find him for me?
Mr. Miyagi was his grandpa. Coincidentally, I just heard that guy is getting married, I think like this week. So
Which guy? The kid?
the kid, yeah.
Okay.
Like I just heard from someone else that he's getting married, I think this week. So
Interesting.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So shout out to him. He'll never see this, but shout out to that guy.
He'll totally see this. He's one of our 2 fans.
That's
Trust
why
me.
I'm not saying his name. Anyway, so back to the fight.
Yeah, let's get into like the actual fight, the Netflix fight.
Okay.
So let's go through each fight. The first fight was pretty solid. It was an Indian guy versus a Brazilian guy. I bet it on the Indian guy and I won. I was correct. It was a rough fight, honestly. I felt like it was so unmatched. The Indian dude was playing with him. It looked like a Bollywood movie where he's just like dodging every punch with ease. He's like drinking a coffee while he's doing it. Like it was a complete joke of a fight.
Yeah, so I will say that definitely shows you how well like those guys have trained, because that guy he'd been what, boxing for 3 years?
Yeah.
The guy
Brazilian dude?
Yeah, who was like a social media
A
influencer.
comedian. He had a
Yeah.
comedian.
But 3 years of boxing, and that other guy was just leaving his arms down and just dodging the punches. Like how frustrating can you imagine for someone like us who's never practiced boxing, getting mad at that guy and being like, "Oh, I'm gonna punch you," and like he's not even trying. He's drunk and stumbling around like
Literally throws you into the corner and starts humping you.
that was so frustrating. I hate that like humping your opponent has become a thing in MMA and boxing now. Like it's a bit much. I'm not trying to be homophobic. I'm not trying to bring that into the podcast, but I'm just saying, maybe
Look,
keep.
I know Abraham Lincoln would love it. Me personally,
Yeah.
though, it's not exactly my style. That's why Abraham Lincoln was a boxer. Now I see why.
Yeah, he's sanctioning the fights himself. he's like, all right, guys, this freeing the slaves thing is pretty important, but we really got to get more humping in boxing. Like, let's add that amendment in there right now.
Yeah. The Netflix special was in honor of Abraham Lincoln. During the Star Spangled Banner, they say, "And thank you, Abraham Lincoln, for pioneering the new way of boxing."
Abraham Lincoln stands up and he's like 4 score, and everybody thinks he's talking about 80 years. He's talking about the 4 dudes in the front row. He's like 4 scores and 20 years ago. That's when he came out. That's when he first discovered.
20 years ago, he discovered
20
who it
years,
was. Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, so first fight was interesting to watch. It definitely felt very one-sided. It wasn't the only one-sided fight of the night, which I'm really surprised to be saying. The second fight, that was the 2 dudes who were both professional boxers, right?
Yep. One dude was he 5 inches? I think it was 3 inches taller than the other dude. It was 5'9" and 6 foot.
He had a heck of a reach on him.
Yeah, he was Aztec, and they got long arms, dude.
Yeah, his arms looked abnormally long for his body.
But he was only 145 pounds.
Yeah,
he
they
was
were
very skinny.
They were light.
145 pounds is crazy.
Yeah, that's scrawny.
Yeah, I'm 6 feet and I'm 2'0". I'm like 218 now.
Yeah. Fight 3 was by far the most intense fight of the night.
It was so intense he had to stop watching.
It is 100% why I don't watch boxing or MMA ever. Like last night was the first time I've ever watched a full like event from start to finish in boxing or MMA. I don't like seeing people get hurt. I don't like seeing blood. The guys in round 2 bloodied them up a little bit. There was some swelling, some blood. It wasn't terrible. The women boxing with the headbutt, dude, okay, so first of all, I wasn't pro the Irish girl, Taylor, in the first place. I just didn't like her attitude and her music, and I just didn't care for her. I was all about the other girl's vibe. But seeing the like 3 accidental, and there's some big air quotes going around on that, headbutts, and then the hugging where she was like trying to rub into it. Oh, dude, I didn't like her at all. That was dirty. And she was losing. And I firmly believe that if she hadn't managed to get that headbutt in there, she would have lost.
I don't know. Because even before the headbutt, the Puerto Rican girl was losing her steam.
Nah, she wasn't. Before the headbutt, she had been like walking her through the ropes for like 3 or 4 rounds before the headbutt happened. And then it must have been at least 4. In my opinion, what I saw was that Puerto Rican girl was showing her the ropes. And then in round 4, round 5, when she headbutted her, which...
It wasn't. It was in round 3.
Was it round 3?
Because if it was in round 4, Um,
If it was after, if it
it
was
was
in the
after round
first
4.
ones, if it was before it was 4 or less, then it could go on a technical and they'd call it. But if it was more than 4, they wouldn't call
Mm.
it. Is what I believe the rules were.
Okay, so it could have been 4, but there was a round before she got headbutted that we were like, oh, she's kind of losing some steam. You remember that, right?
Yeah, vaguely. I don't know, man. I think that she kept her energy up through the entire fight, but she was trying to protect her face on that right side so much, and I think that just wore her out. Which she didn't lose by much. I don't know. I mean, we can disagree on that. I just personally, I was, pulling for that Puerto Rican girl. Like I said, I liked her energy.
Yeah, agree. I don't like dirty fighting. I think it would be way better if she didn't do that.
Uh,
I think the first one was on purpose, honestly. I think after that it was accidental. But I think the first one was on purpose.
Yeah, it could. And who knows? I don't know anything about her. Like I don't follow that stuff, so we're really, just going off of the vibes that we got from watching one
You
fight.
could say we're uninformed.
Yeah, we are very uninformed. Bill Burr.
Bill Burr mentioned.
Yeah, we're
New
gonna
Jersey mentioned.
yeah we're gonna tag him in this one. He's like real fight of the night. Like my takeaway, if it's cool if I go first,
Yeah, of course.
is I'm very surprised at how much I didn't hate Jake Paul. Like I really thought, like I don't watch much Jake Paul stuff. The stuff I've seen I don't care for. I thought he was going to be an annoying punk, and Jake Paul, honestly, you saw him come in hard. You saw him get scared in round 1 because he took a hard hit to the face
Immediately
and
you got hit in the face.
and looked worried. He looked like he was genuinely worried. And then as he continued on, because he's 27 versus 58, that's a huge difference.
31 years.
He still had his energy and stamina, and even though Mike Tyson would have murdered everybody in his prime, or even 10 years after his prime, unfortunately going like 20 years after his prime was just a bit too far. But it really looked like Jake Paul was pulling back a little bit and taking it a little bit easier on him, and he could have gone for a knockout, and it seemed like his coach was telling him to go for the knockout, and he wouldn't. So I kind of appreciate that little Karate Kid moment where he kind of decided like he could be the bad guy and probably get a little bit more clout for it, but he pulled back to kind of save Mike Tyson's rep. And I was surprised at how tired Mike got. Not because like he shouldn't be that tired. I mean, he's 58. He's got every right to be that tired, and he'd still kick my butt. But he looked so tough, and watching him train, I really didn't think Jake Paul had a chance.
Yeah, honestly, I really didn't expect Jake Paul to win. I mean, Jake Paul played very smart. He ran and he stayed far back because he had a way better reach. And when you look at punches hit, he hit like 70 more punches than
Well,
Mike
and he
Tyson.
threw, what was it, 3 times more punches?
Was it that many more?
It was a lot more punches.
Huh.
Yeah, I think they said Mike only landed 19.
18, yeah.
18. Yeah. I mean, so I will say, like, you don't gain a ton of like real respect for fighting some guy who's 20 years past his prime, who's been retired for, gosh, who knows how long. So there's not like a whole lot of like, oh man, you're a serious pro boxer now.
Yeah.
Like, but I will say he did better than I thought he was going to do, and he looked better in the ring, and he had faster hands than I thought he was going to have. Like I saw him do a lot of 1-2s, and I didn't expect him to be as quick as he was, and he wasn't by any means as quick as the second fight was. Those guys were considerably faster, and I think one of those guys might take Jake Paul out, but Jake Paul did a lot better than I thought he was going to do.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed by Jake Paul.
Okay. Go ahead.
Seeing him in older fights, like previous fights, he is nowhere near at where he is now. Like watching those, even his highlights, he's nowhere near as good. Like he really put the work in the past 8 months.
Okay, so that's what I was gonna say. Is if it was Jake Paul 8 months ago versus Mike Tyson last night, who do you think would have won?
I think Mike Tyson would have won.
I think Mike Tyson would have won too. I think that they specifically for the last 8 months trained him to evade. And if Mike Tyson had, like, if he had connected just a few more punches, I think he would have probably won in round 1. Like it was close. Like he shook Jake. You could see the fear in Jake's eyes, and that fear stayed in his eyes probably until round 7.
Dude, I feel like the whole time he looked scared. He was right to be scared because if one good hit got in, he could be down. Like seriously, he was right to stay back and run away. Like he was playing smart.
I will say by round 7, he stopped being as afraid, and he started throwing a lot more punches in round 6s and 7, and he wasn't like running. So before that, like rounds 1 through 5 was Mike chasing Jake, and Jake just walking backwards in circles in the ring, and staying pretty far back. But then after that, like he started working on Mike a little bit, and you can see Mike was a little bit scared. He started guarding a lot more and
Yeah.
was afraid to throw any punches because he was tired of getting hit in the face already.
Yeah. But yeah, honestly, it went very differently than I expected. But it was a solid fight.
Yeah, I've got more respect for Jake Paul now than I did before that. I'm not saying it's like an insane amount, but I watched him and you could tell that he had trained really hard the last 8 months, and I think specifically had trained for fighting Mike. Like he knew what to do in that. They knew that Mike was going to be slower because he's 58, and that chasing him down was going to be a little bit harder for him, and that's exactly what we saw. He came in real hard and real fast right off the bat. Got some good punches in there, but just wasn't able to keep up that steam, and that footwork was honestly not allowing him to get in quick enough and get those punches. Every time he would try to, Jake was just quick enough to get out of it.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, he did well. Jake Paul really did do a lot better than I thought he would too. And I think that was a big part of it for him. Like, you respect him more now. And I mean, literally before last night, all he did, like, if we talked about it, he was saying Jake Paul is nothing and Jake Paul sucks and he's not going to be able to do anything. And now he's got some more respect for him. So I think that, honestly, Jake Paul came out winning with this. He got $40 million for this. He probably got way more fights now. Like, he really won from this, like, with everyone. Everyone is more impressed with Jake Paul now than they were before. And there are a lot of people that are like, oh, but he's 58. Like, you just beat a 58-year-old. It's like, yeah, but also it's like, it's Mike
still Mike
Tyson.
Tyson.
That's the thing.
Mike
It's
Tyson
like,
would still knock out 99.9% of the human population
Yeah.
in a fight. So yeah, I still would not want to cross Mike Tyson, and of course I wouldn't want to cross Jake Paul either, since he's been training for years on it. But yeah, like, and honestly, I don't think Mike really lost any respect,
no.
because everybody knows that he's 58, and there's probably not a 58-year-old man on this planet who could hang with Mike Tyson a day. Like I don't. Like I said, I would be afraid to cross Mike. Like I'd still watch my tone around him and call him sir the entire time, just so I don't like accidentally make him mad. Like I don't want to lose my ear. I don't want
Yeah, dude, that when he said that was so funny. Why are you biting your glove in the ring? I've just got a biting tendency. It's got a biting tendency.
Yeah, that was crazy. he was so the whole time he's just like, don't eat Jake, don't eat Jake, don't eat Jake.
Yeah. You got the cannibal perk, man.
Jake probably like paid him a couple $1 million to not bite him. It's like on the down low, he's like, look, man, the extra 20, we're gonna split that 50-50. Just leave my ears intact. Jake, I'm gonna bite your nose off.
I'm gonna bite your nose off and put it in my thong.
When I bit your nose, I got an erection. That was such a crazy thing for him to say.
So, yeah, I'm gonna take your nose and start right in my booty hole, and then you'll have to smell my booty hole all day.
So for a guy who can fight, he sure cannot trash talk. Like,
No,
he's
dude.
really genuinely bad at it.
And I mean, have you seen the Key and Peele skit making fun of him, where he's just like,
Yeah.
we're gonna be an adorable gay couple, and we're gonna have a nice house, and I'm gonna hit it from the back on you every night.
Yeah, he's a peculiar guy. But yeah, all in all, it was interesting. I'm not gonna watch another fight, man. It's not my thing. I don't like watching people get hurt. But I will say that Jake Paul and Mike Tyson both walked out of the ring, for being the heavyweight guys. They walked out with less like facial damage than anybody else the entire night, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, again, they weren't throwing as many punches. Like, literally, like, dude, the ladies were throwing so many punches. Like, you stopped watching it, but after you were gone, they were just like throwing flurries, and they weren't like weak
No,
little.
I saw, man. They were intense. They were by far, like, if people like that kind of garbage, they were the real fighters of the night. Like,
They were my favorite fight.
Women boxing and women WNBA is not the same. Like, WNBA is a joke, and I mean, they could be beat by like probably like a pro grade 5th grade team. Like, you could go to any state and pick the winning 5th grade basketball team, and I think they could beat the WNBA. Those women boxers, massive respect to them. They are a little bit scary.
Yeah. You still think you could take both of them on at the same time?
No, I never said at the same time. No, I didn't say take
Oh,
them
okay.
two on at the same time.
Oh, okay.
I think that guy who fought two girls at the same time said I could do that with ease, but no, I definitely could not. Without a doubt, I could not take on those two girls at the same time.
Mm-mm.
Take on one of them at a time, I think possibly. Although I don't know, man. I think that Puerto Rican girl is like MMA, and
Yeah, she is.
I
She
think
is.
she might actually be a lot scarier, like when she's not being held back by the rules.
She looks scary, dude. Like you look at her, you're like, okay, she means business. But no, that's after the fight, that's what they were saying. Her coach was like, let's do an MMA fight.
Oh my God, she would destroy that Taylor girl in MMA.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
honestly, if her eye hadn't got busted open, she would have won that fight. She was putting her through the ropes, and wearing her down, and she was probably intentionally holding out for a later win. And the eye thing, crap happens. But yeah,
All right, so we just went to the Fallout New Vegas event in Good Springs. Good Springs is a location in Fallout, New Vegas. It's your starting town, and they just had a massive like festival type thing. There were a lot of people there. We got some stuff, so we're gonna do a little haul in a minute. But why don't y'all just like share your thoughts on everything that we saw?
so it was cool. I will say that we knew it was going to be busy. Mystery guest had done some research and found out that this year was probably going to be a lot busier than it had been in years past. So I think when it first started out, they had like what 200 people, and then it was like 500 people, and then is this the fourth year?
think so.
Fourth year. So then they went to 2,000 people, and now this year they're expecting 5,000 to 7,000 people. So it got busy. So we came in a week ago and toured the town and got to see everything we wanted to see when there was no crowd, and it was the way to do it because man was it busy today. The line was so long to get in, and we of course being who we are, they had a bus that was transporting everybody in, and we were like, nah, instead of taking that, we will just like hike over this mountain. And we ended up like walking in the back gate. And at the time, we're like, oh, that was cool. We just made it. We didn't even think anything of it. So then we toured like all of the vendors and saw everything that there was to see, and then left. And then about 400 people back was the guy who got out right beside us and parked his vehicle. We recognized him from his costume, but he was about 400 people back, still waiting in line. And we had already seen everything there was to see when we like left. And then, and then we went and toured the school, which was really cool, and the museum, and then came back, and the line was still stupid long. Like, I mean, the whole line, what would you guys say? It was probably close to 1,000 people long, wouldn't you say?
Definitely,
least.
definitely.
At least.
It was
yeah.
so long. And then
It
we,
was super long, but everybody was also standing like 4 people wide because they were in groups of friends. So it was that long, but it was a lot of people.
and there's only one entrance gate, so you're supposed to go through that and register and get a band and get a mask for free. And instead of doing that, we literally just like walked past it down the side and went in an open gate again.
Yep.
So we absolutely did not wait the 2 hours that everybody else waited in line, and I'm not even remotely mad about it. But it was a cool experience. I was impressed. So I feel like, you know, it was almost Comic-Con, or not Comic-Con, but like RaleighCon level. Like they had a pretty impressive amount of people in cosplay. And there were some pretty awesome suits out there. Like a lot of guys, especially as the NC Rangers, did a good job.
Yeah, all the NCR Rangers did good. Some of the Brotherhood, some of the Power Armor looked pretty good.
Can't forget Skyrim guy.
Yeah, Todd Howard was there, which was surprising. We even got a photo with him. We'll post it right here.
Yep. If I make a TikTok out of this, I'll put a photo of that. If I make a TikTok out of this part, I'll put a photo of that
So
there. Yeah.
That's weird. I don't know what to say when you're actually going to do it. It's throwing me off.
You're mad. It's like when somebody's like, "You can have this for free." Actually, don't do that, please.
Nah, I'm
I'd like
good,
you to
I'm
not
good.
do it. Actually.
Yeah, so since you made that joke, yeah, so the first tent that we walked up to, the vendor tent, this girl walks up at the same time and like unzips like a duffel bag filled with old like Soviet style gas masks, like the old Cold War style. And she like opens it up and it's filled, and he's like, "Ooh, you want to sell those?" Because like he's interested in buying them because he knows like if he buys them from her, he'll be able to sell them for more. And she's like, "Actually, I was just gonna donate them to you so you could sell them." And he's like, and so I kind of hung out for probably another 45 seconds just waiting to see if he would answer. He like wouldn't even answer her. He's just like, and like the conversation ended. She's like holding them like this, trying to give them to him, and he wouldn't take them. He probably did eventually take them, but it was just crazy. He's like, "I'll buy those." And she's like, "You can have them." He's like, "Nah, I'm good."
These dudes are autistic, man. That's really what that is. He's just like, this is different than what I was expecting. I was expecting to get to barter.
Yeah.
My barter skill's 100. You're just gonna give it to me for free? I'm mad about this now.
I mean, maybe his barter skill is at 100, then that's how he got that. Like that's a pretty good deal. Should have made that joke on site. That's a solid one.
I mean, that guy with the massive burlap sack just like filled with caps.
Yeah.
He was walking and just like jingling the entire way.
That was pretty funny. I kind of want to say to him like, "Oh man, don't tell anybody you won the lottery around here.
Yeah.
'Cause you've got just the right amount of caps to end up in a ditch."
Yeah. No, there were a lot of really cool cosplays. Some Joshua Grahams. That was really cool.
Yeah, that was neat. I mean, by far the best costume was from Big MT, which we'll post that photo right here. So not only does he have the 3 screens that you're seeing right here, so he's got the eyes and the mouth screen, but he also had the robotic voice. It was going through a little microphone and had that cool robotic voice.
Yep.
So that was, I would say, pretty epic. He by far had the best one.
He had the most interesting, the best costume was probably Leggett Lanius. Some Fallout YouTuber, TKS Mantis. TKS Mantis? Yeah. He came and he's in a Leggett Lanius costume. And he's a big dude, apparently. It was a pretty tall costume, but it was very good. It was very accurate.
Yeah, I don't know how big that guy is, but he looked, I mean, because the costume and the helmet and the boots and all that, but he looked like he was somewhere between 6'4" and 6'6".
Yeah.
So the Leggett Lanius, is that how you say it?
Mhm.
That was a cool costume. It looked good. I still say the Big MT was by far the best because of how original it was and how unique it was. Like there was a whole lot of people dressed up as Legionnaires there. And the costumes look cool. Like it's kind of neat to see because you don't see that very often at anything. So it's kind of neat to see that style. But I mean, for me personally, the Big MT was epic.
Yeah, it was really cool.
And and just for the comedy of it, as stupid as it is, I think the Todd Howard probably is my number 2.
Yeah, that was a really funny one. But yeah, so also they had a bunch of little shops there, so we went through all that. And we got a decent amount of stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a little what is it called? Yeah, but like what's the event called?
Oh, the Fallout fan event.
We're gonna do a little Fallout fan event haul. So one thing that we got was a tumbler.
Still wrapped, but there we go.
It's gonna be so boring to listen to.
Yeah,
If you
so
can't see it.
it's a pretty cool tumbler. I mean, it's not anything super fancy, but the stickers are on there, and then they clear coated over them so it's dishwasher safe, and just had some kind of neat stickers on it.
Yeah, it's neat. And this is a Halo Fallout one, so that's interesting.
Every single one of these that they had was unique, so there's no two alike, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. We also got 3, how much was it?
Oh, this was $50.
$50. We also got 3 comic book notebooks that are based on Fallout 4 comic books that you could find in the game that were collectibles. Each of these were $5, so $15 in total. We got 3.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for what they are, I've paid for similar things that didn't look quite as good on Etsy, and I think they were more than that. So no complaints on these. They were pretty cool. They look good. They'll be nice displays. This one even comes with a free something inside. Oh, it's a sticker.
Yeah, for 20% off. We also got a lot of bottle caps. So if you want, do you want to show those off, or you know what bottle caps look like?
Yeah, you can try.
And this alien keychain has a Vault Boy on it.
And it glows.
And it glows in the dark.
Couple of keychain ones. Oh, did I drop one?
Mm-hmm.
And then a whole lot of other ones that we won't go through. It's so bright I can't tell if it's actually in the screen. There we go.
I can hold it.
We also got some pins. So this one is a Lucky 38 pin. In addition to that, there is a medallion coin there. So that's pretty cool. A couple other pins. It's an atomic bomb pin right there. You can see. It's hard to see.
Yeah, it got bright. Now you dropped a thing.
Yep.
It's dumb, but we came across one guy who had a bunch of these that go in your Crocs, like
Giblets.
giblets,
That's what
all
it
different
is.
styles. I don't have them all out, but they were $1 a piece. So we bought all of the ones that he had just to have them. You already showed off the Lucky 38 pin.
Yep.
And then the local volunteer fire station was selling for a donation of 20 bucks little Good Spring pins, which are like unique to there. Doesn't have anything to do with Fallout, but it was just kind of cool.
Challenge coin.
Little challenge coin, she says. Or they say, who knows what's behind the mask. But this one coincidentally was 38. So it was still sitting there, and it just happened to be the first one we grabbed before they even told us, like, oh, they have numbers on them. And then once we realized that, we're like, okay, that's cool. And Vault 13 and stuff like that had already been taken. But 38, which is the Lucky 38, was still there. So it was a pretty epic find, I think, that we got really lucky with getting that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the people behind us were very sad that we got that. You're like, oh, nice, 38. And then went, ugh.
They were very disappointed.
Yeah, that was pure luck. I can't believe, because so many, I mean, I'd say probably they'd sold about 50 of the 100 that they had originally. And they were actually made last year. So they still had so many left over. And then someone just never picked that one. And then these are actual chips, not from a casino, but the same companies that make chips for casinos made these. And I think maybe this is the direction that they go. I don't know. It's a lot to show off here. You can show them off.
So these are all Fallout 2 and Fallout New Vegas themed. So Vicky and Vance, obviously, that is from New Vegas. It's even got the thing on the back, car. Gizmos, that is from Fallout 2. So Gizmos Casino, that's on there. It's in Junktown. Desperado Casino, also in Reno. That's there as well. Bison Steve, that is also in Fallout 2, I think. Silver Rush, that one is in New Vegas. That's where they sell the plasma weapons, right?
Yep, sounds right.
The Shark Club, that is also from Fallout 2. I'm pretty sure that's the club that you can shoot a porno in Fallout 2. The Tops Casino, that is from New Vegas, obviously. The Brimstone and Zoera Lounge, that is probably from Fallout 2, I don't remember. Atomic Wrangler, that's from New Vegas.
This says downtown New Vegas, so it must have
yeah?
been in there. Brimstone, wasn't that where?
Oh, that's underneath the Gamora, right?
Maybe.
That's what it is. Okay, yep. Vault 21, also from New Vegas. The Ultralux. Can you say it like how Mr. New Vegas says it?
No, I don't know how he says it.
Okay.
How does he say
works.
it?
I'm not gonna do it. I can't do it. I can't do accents. So that is that one. And then finally the Lucky 38. So that is also a cool one. But yeah, so all very neat. Very cool poker chips. Those were 70 altogether. It was 7 for each one, but if you get all 12, it's 70.
Yeah. Oh, and if you buy all 12, you get a complimentary custom bag.
But the tote bag that we were holding all this in was $12. Says Good Springs, Nevada on it.
Not bad. Something.
So that was the Fallout haul. That was everything that we got at the Fallout Fan Festival. Thank you to our mystery guests today. They're about to leave, but stayed for a while on the podcast. Thank you very much for joining us and
Vault
chiming
person.
in. Yep.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Don't forget about all the stuff you scavenged at the.
Oh, it's all in the bag.
You can't leave that out.
I don't know if we can talk about it.
Let's just say some people left things as mementos that didn't get to stay very long, but I think that's pretty common.
Yeah, let's just say that it'll be my memento now.
Yeah.
Now I'll remember it.
Lots of people collected those mementos, so.
Yeah. And I might have been like, hey, there's free stuff over here.
We did not see any of the snow globes in the
cemetery. Nobody left any snow globes yet. I seriously think if we went back at night, there'd be more there.
Maybe. I think there's so many people who'd be quick to pick those up. I bet they're not going to stick around, especially when they're selling them inside for $60 a snow globe. Nobody's going to be leaving that around.
Yeah, it's insane, dude. That's so much money. But yeah, thank you very much for coming out, mystery guest. We really appreciate your input on the things.
Thanks for having me. Anytime. Love to come back.
Uh-huh.
See you next time.
So we obviously were in Utah for a while, and in Utah they have a lot of rock and crystal shops. It's not really like girl crystal shops where like the crystals mean something special. It's just like actual cool crystals. But I think it'd be really interesting if we opened up a crystal shop in Utah. And I wanted to run through some ideas that I had with you, just a few, and you could give me some as well for like specific things the crystals do, because
Okay.
that's like how they work, like crystal girlies. The crystals like do something for you or they mean something.
What could we name our store like Mercury's retrograde? Like oh dude, it would pull in the girls.
It would.
Like
Mercury's retrograde and its retro style to
ooh,
the
yeah.
80s because they like 80s. So Mercury's retrograde 80s themed.
I like it.
Dude, this is actually a really good idea.
We're gonna be so rich.
Yeah, so this is going to be a very specific crystal shop. I want to have one that repels homeless people.
Mm.
So there's less homeless people around you when you have this crystal with you.
Dude, I would carry that crystal. I'm not even gonna lie.
I know you would. Yeah,
Like
you
all of our
you would.
downtown businesses, ugh, I would love that. I would buy those things in bulk and give them out to people.
Replace every single statue with a massive
Like,
crystal. What color would the crystal be? Blue. Blue
what-
cop blue.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I was also thinking one that I think we should do orange for this one. An orange one that makes your toxic ex start balding early.
Ooh.
I think that's a pretty good one.
You know what?
I think a lot of
Okay, if these crystals actually had these powers, like as a guy, how funny would it be to buy that though? Because like guys go bald all the time, but like buy those in bulk for like that one bad ex-girlfriend you had, and just see her 2 years later, and she's looking like Will Smith's about to date her.
Dude, alopecia's crazy, man. Do you have any interesting crystal ideas?
I hadn't thought about it until this story, so no. Do you have any more? I'll try to work on something.
I don't have any more.
Oh wow, okay, so 2. All right.
I haven't put a lot of thought into this, okay? I didn't know if you were gonna like this business idea, okay? I didn't know, all right? But now that you like it, I know I can come up with more, okay?
So the shop I got was way too big. We're only selling 2 crystals here. We could have just been like a lemonade stand on the side of the road.
Dude, people would buy those so much though. Like if you actually believe in that stuff, those are both amazing things.
Yeah, those are solid. I mean, that's a really good start to our store. I'm gonna say like a crystal that makes you not have to use deodorant, because I know for a long time like women in the 90s and 2000s, and I think it's kind of like come back, would rub some sort of a crystal, like an actual crystal, in their armpits and not use deodorant, and like it did not work.
What a cool thing to do.
They all smelled. They thought it would like keep them from smelling. It didn't work. They all smelled bad. Yeah, if anyone's grandma's listening to this, everyone smelled you when you used a crystal as deodorant.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. People are wild, dude. People come up with these stupidest things and are like, maybe this will work. Because I feel like I would do that for like 2 days and be like, all right, this is not working. Like 2 days in, I would know.
Yeah, the first time you used it and you smelled bad. Okay, so I think one red. So it's gonna be a red crystal, and when you buy it and carry it with you, it makes your most attractive female friend gain weight. So she's no longer the most attractive. Girls would buy that 100%.
Yeah, definitely. Man.
Honestly, if you told like most girls today that they could buy a crystal and just keep it on them and it would act as birth control, they would probably do that. Like I wouldn't even be surprised.
Yeah.
They'd be like, but I had it in my purse. What do you mean I'm pregnant?
Yeah. Too real. Too real. Cut that part out.
Oh, why?
Because it wasn't funny. It was just too real. That wasn't even a joke. That was just sad.
It was a joke. I mean, guys won't buy crystals. What would guys buy in a shop? Hats. like stitch hair into a hat. Like this hat makes you regrow your hair.
Oh gosh.
I mean, we know guys would do that, dude. Like Kenny Chesney was like early on in the wearing a hat while going bald phase.
This yellow brim embroidered hat will make your football team win 95% of the time.
Dude, you would sell out of those hats.
Yeah.
Every guy would be like losing his mind to buy those. And then you come up with something stupid like, but they can't ever wash it. And then the girl would wash his hat when she's tired of him loving the sports team too much.
Have you seen those videos of girls being like, I just bedazzled my boyfriend's Xbox Series X.
Ooh.
Dude, it's insane.
Immediately overheats.
Ugh, yeah.
It had all these really cool slots that I could stick stuff in.
Ugh, yeah. They look terrible. I know they got broke up with.
Yeah,
Like,
that's-
dude, immediately.
and if you bedazzled his Xbox and he didn't break up with you, you're his beard.
Yeah.
You're his side piece, and his other side piece has a beard.
Uh-huh.
All right, what else would a guy go into a hat store for a special magical hat? Definitely the hair. Be taller.
Oh.
It's like a 10-gallon hat. 100% guys would buy a Be Taller hat.
Abraham Lincoln style hat. It's just Abraham Lincoln like twerking on it. That's what it looks like. That's the signature. That's the new rule. Every single what are they called, top hats?
Mhm.
He had like, I feel like it wasn't even a top hat. It was like bigger than that.
Yeah, I don't know the terminology for those
Every
hats,
Abraham Lincoln style top hat now legally has to have a photo of Abraham Lincoln in a thong on it.
but he's not good at, yeah, I can't do the thong thing after seeing Mike Tyson in a thong last night. That was unexpected, and I didn't want to see that.
It was weird. I don't even know why he did that. He was like with his nephew too.
But if Abraham Lincoln was twerking, you can hear that noise. We're parked just off of a side-by-side trail, so we're about to get like a nice dust cloud in our face. Side-by-sides keep going by. If Abraham Lincoln was twerking, would he be good at it, or would he be like the girl from Bob's Burgers who like only does it with her back?
Well, yeah. Here, let's think about it. He's very tall and he's skinny. So think about Angel Reese. Angel Reese twerking.
Shaq right now is like
Shaq's freaking
he's
out.
licking
Dude.
his lips and doing some.
Have you seen those clips of him, bro?
No.
You haven't seen? There was an Instagram comment. It was like, oh, somebody was attacking Angel Reese and Shaq came to her defense on Instagram, and it's him just being like, I would love to be crushed between Angel Reese's thighs. Like it was literally wasn't in defense at all. It was just like thirsting over her. It's like, dude,
Shaq,
you've got a wife and you've got like 3 kids.
Shaq like Angel Reese.
Shaq tall. Shaq like tall back. Shaq not like his wife short. Shaq keep falling on wife. Shaq think wife size of dog.
I have not.
Shaq want human wife.
I've not seen his wife, but I would imagine she's probably not like massively tall.
No, she's not. She's a little Asian girl.
Ah,
She's like 5'3" probably.
Hmm.
Maybe she's taller than that, but I mean, obviously besides Shaq, she looks tall, but besides other people too, she looks small. I mean, small. Yeah.
all right. I don't have any other gems. Any other stones?
Don't have any crystals either. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll come up with some crystals though for the next podcast.
Yeah.
We'll have to think on that one a little bit. Okay, I do have one. It gets rid of their IBS because girls.
Oh my God, dude.
Girls forever be having rumbly tummies.
Yeah, that's actually a really good one. What's that? That's the yellow crystal. No, that's the
It's
brown
brown.
crystal. That's the brown crystal. The yellow crystal is
UTI infection.
UTI infection. You can take it with you on the plane and you won't get a UTI infection. That's the yellow crystal. Dude.
And the white crystal prevents yeast infections.
Dude.
These are easier than I thought they would be.
These are yeastier than I thought they would be too.
Oh.
What else? What else? Purple? That's fine. We'll come up with it later. How about that?
Yeah, we'll work
Next
on that.
podcast.
We'll write down some stuff and then we'll pretend like we didn't prepare in advance.
Yep.
We're gonna be like, wow, that was good.
We're just gonna make another clip out of this and be like, "Whoa, we're so funny on the cuff. We're so funny off the cuff."
On and off the cuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
On the cuff, off the cuff, we're funny no matter
We don't
what.
even need
dude.
a cuff to be funny. We can just
Yeah.
we can just be funny. Cuffless.
Yeah. I'm cuffless. I'm funny.
Cuffed up. Yeah, so I like Mercury's retrograde. Retrograde.
What is this, Abraham Lincoln shop?
We should just name that our podcast is Abraham Lincoln Was Gay. Like that's
a great
the
name.
theme of all of our
Yeah,
podcasts.
every single one. That one video did decently. That one video of Abraham Lincoln didn't do terrible. We're like, that's the joke now. Abraham Lincoln is the only thing that we can say now. It's like Joe Rogan with his bears. Jamie, pull up that video of a bear mauling a dude.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, in everything, he's always talking about bears. Like
Mm.
he always talking about bears. You need to be afraid of brown bears, dude. Just let it eat you. That's all you can do. You just better pray it doesn't get your organs when it's clawing at you. You better hope that you're just paralyzed for life and you're not dead.
I mean, they're pretty big bears.
They are, but like literally, that's all he talks about. Like, have you seen the clips of him? Like, people have mashed it together. Like every single time he mentions bears, and it's so much, dude. He talks about bears constantly. It is insane.
Oh, okay, so to defeat a bear, like a brown bear, not a black bear. A black bear, I feel like you could almost win that fight with a stick, like not a tiny stick,
And you could scare it into submission.
but like
I feel
okay, me versus a black bear, baseball bat, and I'm winning that fight. Like not if it like thinks that, like probably not if it's like a mom that thinks I'm about to kill its cubs, but like if it thinks I'm a snack and I've got a baseball bat, I'm gonna be fine. Like I'm probably gonna get scratched a little bit, but I would be careful enough between a tree and a baseball bat to like cut it off guard and defend myself. So I think black bear, baseball bat. What do you need to survive a brown bear?
Gun.
Gun?
I think you need a gun, man.
Like bare minimum, you say there's nothing you could survive with short of a gun.
Yes.
I'm gonna go spear.
Spear?
I think I could take a brown bear with a spear.
Probably.
I think like not a sword. I don't think a sword's quite long enough, but like you give me a quality spear,
Metal spear. Like metal all the way
yes.
through, no wood. If it's wood, it'll break.
Yeah.
Because a bear has so much force running towards you. If it's metal, it might work, but if it's wood, crack, like immediately.
I think a spear. I think I could get it with a spear.
But still, like you got to stab it in the head. That's the thing.
I mean, if you land it right, and you know like you keep that to your side or you keep it like this, and that goes into them. I mean, if you've got 7-8 feet of spear, I think that's enough that it would like the bear would have the time to react to being stabbed and be like, whoa. Like if it was immediate, like if you stabbed it with a knife as it was attacking you, it's probably not going to feel that quick enough. But I think in the 7 to 8 feet, I think you'd be okay.
Probably. I feel like I would. I don't know, man. I think obviously I'd rather have a gun. I think a spear is kind of like. Still, it could still get the upper hand.
I'm saying like bare minimum to survive.
Bare
minimum. Yeah.
I would also say spear. I think you're right.
Okay. Yeah. I think like maybe not 100 times out of 100, but I think there's a pretty good survivability rate with like a 7-8 foot spear.
I think you're right. Yeah.
All metal, sharp, like not like an Indian spear
Nah.
with like a 3-inch arrowhead tip on it. Like
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. Like I know I won't win that battle, but I think that the reason why is that a lot of times if you're making noise and you're big, they might get within 8 feet of you, but they're not necessarily always going to charge you right off the bat. Again, if it's a female and she thinks I'm attacking her kids, probably not going to win with that. But in truth, you're not going to defeat unless you're packing something pretty big. Even with a gun, you're not going to like ward her off if she thinks you're after her babies.
Yeah.
Have you seen those things chasing other bears? Like when they think it's after their baby, they'll chase it all the way up a tree and they'll fall out of the tree and they'll keep chasing each other. Like,
Yeah.
and they're falling like 50 feet out of a tree. Like they're not falling 10 feet up. They're falling like 50 feet.
Dude, I saw a video that made me so mad. It was people, and it really just goes to show, like, sometimes you just have to let nature be what it is. But it was people. There's a bear in a tree, and they're like, "Oh, we have to help the bear get down." And they put a trampoline under the tree. And normally, it was gonna fall normal, and it was gonna break its foot. It was gonna break its foot on impact. It was too big of a jump, but it wasn't gonna die. It was gonna be fine. It landed on the trampoline, had no idea that was gonna happen, landed on its neck, snapped its neck, died.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they just killed a bear. And they were trying to help it. There were 50 people gathered outside, like, yay, we did it. And then it falls and it dies. And they're sad. But like literally, you just have to let nature be what it is sometimes. Because you just killed it. It was gonna be fine.
So what if that was actually what they paid for? Like it's a new store. Like have your kids loved Build-A-Bear? Try Killed-A-Bear. We'll give you all the tools you need to kill a random black bear. I mean, can't be mad at them. We're over here talking about killing bears. They just did it. We just
Yeah.
talk. Well, they do.
Well, they didn't even try. Like they weren't trying to kill it, is what I'm saying. I'm mad that they like had a different goal than the outcome.
I think that maybe we're overestimating bears. If they didn't even try and they killed it, maybe it's not that hard.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay, so I want a trampoline. You can keep the spear. Give me a trampoline. Since clearly bears have no defense against trampolines.
Dude, seriously, if you jump high enough and you just land on it, squish it, boom, just like that, you win. You just got to build up another force, jumping.
and somehow not die on the way down.
No, you're fine, dude. Trust me. Trust me. You're
This
chill.
is getting stupid. Okay, give me a helicopter and an anvil.
Yeah.
Blunt force trauma.
If I can throw the helicopter blades and jump out before
Ooh.
it crashes, that bear's gone. All right. So I think this is probably the last thing we're going to do on this podcast, but I wanted to do another round of Fortnite.
Voter registration. Let's go with that.
Okay. We're going to do another round of the Fortnite voter registration to see whether each city in Fortnite is Republican, swing state, or Democrat. So we're going to go over that right now. We recently did the Chapter 2 original cities, but now we're going to go back to Chapter 1, kick it back a little bit. So we're just going to see that. So our first one up is Greasy Grove. This is that didn't take long. This is a
decided.
This is a smaller one. They have a taco shop and a burger shop. There are some 2-story homes. It's a nice small town. Ooh, cop car right there.
Mm.
But yeah, that's the Der Burger building. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
I mean, would anyone there describe the town as finger licking good?
Probably.
All right, I think I'm gonna have to go Democrat with that city.
Democrat? Why?
For personal observation reasons.
Just thoughts. Just looking at the Dems. Just looking at them.
As someone who's pretty ashy this week, you know what? What was it called? Greasy
Grove?
Greasy Grove doesn't sound so bad. I could use a little bit of that.
Yeah. All right. The next one is Tomato Town.
White.
Tomato Town?
Tomato Town is a bunch of very white Republicans.
All right. So we've got a pizzeria right here.
Yep. It's Italians. Yep.
Yeah. Uh-huh. But yeah, so it's about the same size for the town. Honestly, it's a little bit smaller. But yeah, so
It's a bunch of like dumb Italians being like, forget about it.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. You got it.
We don't have Joe Pesci on the show in case anyone was hearing that and wondering. No, that was actually me
It was perfect.
doing imitation. Yeah,
That's
it
an
was
amazing accent.
just me.
Just perfect.
Man, my
Okay.
pants keep riding up like so high.
Oh,
Everyone's gonna be
sorry.
making jokes if they see the video about me wearing high waters. Like, why are you wearing high waters in the desert? What river are you crossing?
Yeah. All right, so the next one is Anarchy Acres. This is a farm. What are your thoughts so far? Seen anything sticking out to you?
100% libertarian.
Yep, I think you're right. That's what we said about the
Yeah.
last farm too. I think this is also libertarian. All right, now we're going to the biggest city in Fortnite, Tilted Towers. Very famous. A lot of high rises, big buildings. What
All
are you
right.
thinking?
I think that's a very liberal tech town, where probably someone like Zuckerberg would set up and found his company.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with way overpaid
they definitely have a Whole Foods in there.
liberal
for sure.
whites. Oh yeah, I think the town is built on a Whole Foods. Like
All right.
there's a Whole Foods underneath everything there.
Uh-huh. The next one is Venice. This is Snobby Shores. So this is like 5 to 6 houses on the waters. They're on the water directly. They've got houses very close to each other, waterfront view. What are you saying?
Okay, so in all honesty, this is going to be a bunch of old rich people who pretend to have Democratic views but vote Republican every single time.
Yeah, probably.
But say Democratic things so that they can save face in front of other people.
yeah,
Dude,
And
look
they're
at that
from-
cool truck going by
they're
right
from
now.
New Jersey. They moved out of Tilted Towers to
You see that? It's pretty cool. So it's a semi truck hauling like a custom, what do you call it? Like, not rat rod, but like a, well, that's like those vehicles that were there that look like they belong in Mad Max.
oh
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool setup.
yeah, sneak. He's probably going to the Fallout show.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
But yeah, they definitely moved out of Tilted Towers into these houses,
Mm-hmm.
and they paid 600,000 V-bucks for them for sure,
Minimum.
minimum.
They're on the
Alright.
water, so they probably paid like 2 million to 3 million V-bucks for them.
Probably. Well, that's all that I have for that. I think that's pretty much it for the podcast. Let me double check one more time, just make sure nothing else in there. Got anything else you want to add?
So a couple of cool things still coming up on the trip. Today, I think we're going to possibly go to the Neon Museum. And then we still have the Atomic Museum to check out, which would be cool. And then I think we're going to go to Meow Wolf, which is pretty neat, which has the, was it Super Duper Mart or Mega Mart?
Oh, Omega Mart, yeah.
Omega Mart. Sadly, they were going to open one of those in Orlando, and then they got halfway through the construction process, I heard, and gave up and walked away from it, which makes zero sense. But that was really disappointing. So we were going to see it there, but now we're going to see it while we're out here in Vegas. So hopefully that'll be cool. And we'll have some really cool stuff to talk about after getting to experience that.
Yeah, should be good. Well, thank you for listening to the podcast. I'm Davis.
I'm David.
And we are 2 Men in a Truck.
And this is our podcast.